Okay, so in this video I'm going to cover Unit 2, Communicating and Presenting Ideas in the Creative Media Sector. I'm going to cover Part 1, which is understanding how to communicate in the workplace. The part 1.1 is describe several communication techniques and explain their appropriate application. So in my workplace we communicate a lot with teachers, with students, with external visitors, so we need to have communication skills that enable us to be able to train, to be able to facilitate, to be able to showcase what we do here at BCOT. It's important to have communication skills, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do public speaking, we wouldn't be able to facilitate, it wouldn't go down so well. It can be with teenagers, with young adults, anxiety stops a lot of communication techniques. I am aware of this, and it can be difficult to then partake in the communication skills, to be able to develop them, to be able to grow them, because you have something stopping you. To be able to pass these obstacles, anxiety and nerves, and to improve communication skills, you have to, the communication skills that I'm going to be talking about will help you improve, help you develop and grow the communication skills. Okay, so communication skills I need for my job is I need to be able to train a member of staff without coming across as condescending, rude. I'm 19 and they're a bit older than me, so that could, if I come in and I say, I'm going to teach you how to use Google, it might come across, if I say it negatively or I say it in a certain way, it might come across where they may instantly reject anything I say because I'm young, and if you've been working traditionally using pen and paper, using notebooks, using a physical whiteboard, you're not really going to want to move to digital and paper less. So if you have someone come in and they're condescending and they're rude, you're not going to want to do that change even more, and you're going to reject anything, and you aren't going to move on even though college want you to. Public speaking can be difficult. I do public speaking and I need to improve these skills. Being able to project your voice, to be able to appear confident, to speak clearly is something I struggle with, but you can only get better with it if you consistently do it and watch yourself back. So a couple of communication skills I've taken aboard from the last year of my apprenticeship is to remain calm and positive and polite. To remain calm and relaxed in scenarios which may be a bit difficult for me to. This is evidence, is the fact that I'm swinging on my chair whilst filming. That shows that at the moment I'm not very calm because this is quite nerve-wracking for me, which then going to need to improve my communication skills to be able to sit and do this confidently without worrying about anything that may happen, even though nothing really could happen. If you remain calm in that sort of environment, it allows you to take control of the environment. Usually, if I'm training a member of staff, they're very negative about them being trained, about the software, about the programs, about what we're doing, and then they're negative about themselves and then technology able, if they are able to do what we want them to do, what we're trying to train them to do. So instantly they're very nervous, instantly they're very worried. And so if we remain calm, if we remain polite, if we consistently show them that it's okay, we can show you, we can go slow, then it calms them down. Another thing is mimicking giving the silent treatment, which sounds not good, but if you use it in a way that is good, if you use it where you keep if you keep quiet and listen, it gives them time to ask the questions they want to ask. It gives them time to talk about the issues that they're having. Maybe there's a reason they haven't been able to get on with your classroom, and they can talk to you about that. It also helps if they're stuck or if they're confused, any issues they're having. Sometimes it doesn't go as well because if you're giving them the silent treatment and they're not talking, that could be an issue. So I like to also ask questions, because if I ask questions, they'll be able to answer the questions. If I ask questions that help them when I'm training, so, oh, can you just show me that again? Can you show me how to create an assignment? Then they are learning with you. They are showing everything I taught them. They are now showing me back, so it shows that they've learned it. This also, and then obviously I would let them ask questions if they were stuck, if they didn't know how to, if they couldn't remember how to do something, we could go through it again, and then that reassures them and it reassures me that they know that they have been successfully trained, and it also allows them the confidence to then ask me questions and come and see me, and then make sure that we have that I'm going to be there if they need any help. It's good to have a sense of humour. Sometimes it doesn't really work, but if you have that sense of humour, and if they're nervous and you make them laugh, it's good to have that, because then they will always come back to you. They'll always remember you because there's something you've said, something you made them laugh. So it makes you more approachable. So then they will happily, consistently ask questions, and they don't mind. It's good to build that sort of friendship and relationship in the workplace. I also like to stay positive in all scenarios, even if the teachers believe that they're not very good with technology. I don't believe that. No one starts off brilliant at something, everybody gets better, and I'm here to help them get better. I wasn't that great with technology, and I've developed myself, so I can help and grow and improve other people's technology skills. So I like to stay positive. I like to remind them that it's good, that what they're doing is great. They are welcoming it in, they are engaged with it, and they're doing it. They could completely disengage, they could not do it. So to be able to have that positivity and be able to reflect that, and just how great they are for accepting this after years of teaching and not doing things like Google, things like digital technology and education technology. It's great they're doing it, and then that gives them the confidence to improve even more. 1.2 covers compare a range of techniques used for influence and persuading others and application. This is helpful. We do this with training as well, because some teachers they're obviously not very keen on digital and Google, because they've obviously had all of their teaching years paper-based portfolios, assignments and paper written assignments. So to be able to influence them and persuade them into moving on to digital, even if it's just a little bit, because it doesn't matter. Even if we get them to get on Google Classroom, use Google Drive, it's still a small win for us, because it means that we can then push further throughout the year. We can be like, oh, you've used this, so now we try this. As a team, we are very emotionally intelligent, and it's very good to be emotionally intelligent, because it means you can read the room, you can read the moods. If you go to training and you're not feeling that great, one of the things you don't really want to do is overstack them with information, because it won't help them. If I get to that scenario, I haven't been faced with that before, but if I was, I'd probably ask them, do you want to do this today? We can reschedule if you feel the need to, or I can show you a little bit, and then I can come back when you're feeling a bit better. Another way is just to influence them, which I know isn't a question, but if you show them things that they could do, they usually get excited. Like if you show them a Kahoot, it's quizzes without having to write out the questions, or any of the edtech tools. Tactfully persuade. You have to persuade them. Sometimes you can get like teachers who are not having any of the digital, any of the people, they're just not interested. So we have to show them the benefits, but make it so they're in charge. So we're just pushing out a little bit of benefits, but we have to show that they're in charge, and it's up to them if they want to use it. They don't have to, but this is what they could use if they wanted to. Once again, staying calm. It's not good to get too assertive. You can't push things onto them because then they're not going to accept it. They've been in teaching for 15 years. Some 19-year-old girl comes in and they're not having any of it. You have to show them that it's exciting, that you need to stay calm, and you need to say, this is up to you, this is your decision, this is the stuff that you can use. Be open and encouraging. So allow your body language to do the same. You can negotiate by listening to them. If they come to you and say, oh, I really don't like the fact that all my students have all this paperwork and I don't know how to file it, Google Drive, Google Classroom, it can help. Or I want something like Photoshop but cheaper so they can use it at home, use Pixlr. There are stuff that you can use. If there's not something, if they say, oh, I need help with this thing and you have no idea, it's good to then be like, oh, well, we can look for this, or I can look for this. If you give me a couple of days, I can come back and I can show you what I found, if I found anything. So that means that you're still got that relationship with them. And it shows them that you are looking to help their needs and helping to get them the benefits. You could also make agreements. So, like I said before, even if you get a little bit of your agreements on your classroom that they haven't managed Drive, they're not using Docs, they're still using Word, at least they're using Google Classroom, students are uploading files to Google Classroom. That is still a small win, which then makes it a little bit less paperless. So common grounds as well. If they want something like paperless and you can give them that, then that can help them. You can show them what they can do, and then they're more open and engaged and more intrigued by it. So it's easier to grab them that way. 1.3, describe how to give and receive constructive feedback. Constructive feedback can always be difficult to give and receive because depending on your mood, depending on the context, it can be taken quite negatively. Probably the best way I found is feedback sandwich, which is positive, negative, positive. So you start off with positive, which could be for blended learning, could be, I really like the way your classroom is set out. Negative could be, but you could maybe use topics as an easy way to filter out your assignments. And then positive, but I really like the way that you've labelled all of your units on the assignments. You've given students examples and scenarios, and you've attached all of the relevant files, which is a good way because then they remember what they've done good. They can also think about the negative thing, and it's not seen as negative really, it's just seen as an improvement. It's always best to focus on the situation rather than the person, because say if someone did a presentation which wasn't the most exciting, you could say something like, oh, the presentation, I didn't get a lot of information from the presentation, or it wasn't as engaging, rather than saying the person wasn't engaging, as that could be more of a personal, they could feel it's a personal attack rather than the presentation not being as good. Be specific with your feedback. So if you say to someone, oh, I didn't like your presentation, they're gonna think, what didn't you like? Was it the slides? Was it the amount of information, the pictures, the way I presented? They're not going to know. Also best to only mention things that can be improved. If you say something that can't be improved, then they're just going to think about it. So only things that can be improved straight away, or they can improve slowly. Always recommend the things they can improve on. I always get recommendations when I'm public speaking. I could be louder, I could be clearer, my arms could not dance when I talk. And also it's better to do face-to-face rather than messenger because of context, because it could be taken the wrong way. If you were to say, oh, I really like this, but this could have been better, look at this, but they might see that as sarcasm or taking the context the wrong way, you're being condescending. So it's better to do it face-to-face. It's also better to make sure the timing is right, because if they're having a bad day and you go in and you say, oh, this could be better, they might take it the completely wrong way, and then they have that issue of they've made the day worse and they're most likely to react negatively. So for receiving constructive feedback, which is always difficult, when I'm creating my website, if someone comes in and they're like, oh, I don't like this nav bar, it does get a bit, you have to understand, you have to take on the advice, you have to ask why. Why don't you like it? What's wrong with it? What would you do to improve it? Is it the colour scheme? Why don't you like the colour scheme? Take on the advice if you think it's necessary. If you don't, if you do feel like the feedback isn't constructive, in my role, I would talk to my manager and say, I don't really like this. And then he probably will tell me that they're just giving you constructive feedback or taking it the complete wrong way. Remember that all advice is beneficial and it will help you. It will help you improve. I usually go to one of my colleagues who's a graphics designer with a website, and she's always saying, maybe this colour scheme, maybe you should do this in that file, maybe you should have it to the side. And even though sometimes it can, if you work really hard on something and someone's like, oh, you need to think better about this, it can get to you. But you need to remember that, especially if they have a better skill set in that range, in that area as you, that they know sort of what they're talking about, and all they're saying is to help you. It would be worse if they didn't say anything at all. You need to listen and you need to thank the other person because they have given you the feedback. And if you have, and obviously ask questions. What I did with Holly, who was the graphic designer, was we planned out what the website should look like. She said, I don't like this. So I said, okay, let's work together and see how we should make it. And then the website looks now how me and Holly have planned it. It's also good to discuss it, like I said. 1.4, describe methods used to communicate technical and specialist issues within and across teams. This can be difficult as well. A lot of communication can be difficult because it depends on your skill set and depends on your person's skill set. So when I talk to the team, I'm more body language and excited, and I can use informal language, I can use lingo that we use, and words like bigger words that teachers may not really, because of technology rather than paper-based. So we need to make sure that our technical terms are correct, because if we go in and we say something that we say, they might get confused, they might not understand. Keep it technical, but not too technical. We have to keep it simple. So if we go in there and Google Classroom, Google Drive, and Google Docs, and Kahoot, and quizzes, I think that's, or Pixlr, and Telegami or something, they might not understand what is it talking about. What is educational technology? What is that? We don't know. So we need to make sure it's kept simple. And another communication technique is to keep it slow, because I'm rushing, because I haven't developed as much as I could. So it might take a lot longer to explain to teachers or students, but it will be beneficial because it means they understand, and that's all that matters, as well as using body language to talk to them. I have a lot of body language because I move my hands a lot. Another way is email, social media, posters, messenger chats like Hangouts or Facebook or WhatsApp, phone calls, briefings like teacher briefings like we do here at the college, and websites can also communicate issues across teams. That is all.